Hi, thanks for tuning in to my official YouTube channel. I am Reverend MeeLing, Reverend Susan MeeLing, Lady Dori, Belle. I've been known by a few names. So, and depending on where you knew me at. So, just like anybody else realistically, right? Like I'm the only one. I don't think so. So, anyway. I'm still in New Mexico at this point in time because it's a big state. And it took a bit of time to get out of the state of Texas because Texas is obviously a big state. So it takes a while to travel through the different areas. And so on my way, I remembered in regards to a specific individual. So those who knew Discordia in the San Antonio area of Texas, of the lifestyle scene, the one that stole garden gnomes out of people's yards to supposedly free the gnomes that people purchased. It sounded like theft to me. Nonetheless, she wound up telling me one day in front of Lisa and her husband, the guy who's a lawyer, and then Alicia, the Mustang's daughter, that she had viewed me as competition for years. I had no idea that she even knew me for years. It was one of those, what do you mean? And this was in 2012, just shortly after she had gotten out of jail for the couple of days. And she had told me that, in front of all of them, that she had been introduced to me at some event in, I think it was 2008 or 2009. And she was testing my memory issues the way my biological mother and biological sister did. The way she tried to justify it. Oh, I'm about to cross into Colorado. Hold on. See? Colorado. So there you go. That being said, hold on. So I was told by Discordia or Erika that in about, I think she said it was either 2008 or 2009, she had been introduced to me and she was testing my head injury stuff. And she claimed that she felt that she was justified in doing so, partially because she viewed me as competition. The other part that she said as an excuse, in my opinion, was that her father had been a resident at Johns Hopkins University. And I looked at her and I was like, so let me understand this correctly. You don't actually have a degree. She said, no, but my dad does. I said, just because your dad has a degree doesn't mean that you have a degree. And so she threw a fit because I was obviously rightfully so upset and offended. And not forgetting the aspects of her not having a medical license to do something like that. She was actually genuinely upset that I was offended and upset about her choice to test my medical stuff without any degree whatsoever. And just because her dad supposedly had been a resident at Johns Hopkins University, she felt, for whatever excuse, that gave her some sort of transfer rights, which obviously not. And Lisa and her husband just stood there like in complete shock. Rightfully so. And so Alicia, on the other hand, she started laughing, the Mustang's daughter. And I looked at Alicia and I said, I know your dad raised you better than that. I know that for a fact. Your dad being a Mustang? No. You weren't raised to use that in the way that, not saying that Erika or Discordia was taught that way. However, you need to make sure you understand and check yourselves. And Erika, or Discordia on FetLife at the time, said that she felt that she wanted me to pay attention to her feelings. And it was one of those, I don't really care about your feelings when it comes to my medical stuff. I have enough doctors that have reviewed and been my actual doctors that would be able to verify without any hesitation. There's a whole bunch of documentation on that. And it's no right of yours to test anyone that way. And she had discussed how she had done it to other people that she felt were competition to her. And I looked at her like, do you understand how disgusting you are to me? And she listed off a bunch of people because at some point in time she had been an escort. And I looked at her, I go, I don't care that at one point in time you were an escort at all. That's not of any importance to me. I don't care because, again, that's not a problem in my opinion. Not in an overall sort of way. Personally, I can't do it, but that is what it is. And so she went and acknowledged she had been using essentially her boobs to get Steve from Temple of Flesh's attention, so that way he would just essentially pay attention to her. But when she found out that I was going to be performing, and I did the Star Spangled Banner dance at the last Uniform Fetish Ball, as well as the Exotic Easter performance, she was infuriated that Steve had asked me, but she didn't understand that I actually asked him if I could do it. And all she saw was what she chose to see, essentially. And so she had explained that she felt that she was in the right to essentially cause problems where I didn't need any additional problems, obviously, for those who know what was going on in my life at that time, as far as my son and my daughter, because of what happened to my daughter, because of McCoy Elementary School and all that stuff. And so, where Alicia thought it was funny and Erika thought she was justified, I essentially said absolutely not. And because I said absolutely not, they were offended by me saying that I was offended. And it's just one of those, I didn't think that it was that realistically, I didn't think that was that difficult to figure out, that I'd have the right to be, and not just me, but anybody that she had done that to. And she did not tell me all of the different people that she had done that to, but essentially she said anybody that had been viewed, in her opinion, as competition in the BDSM, LGBTQP, and swinger lifestyles, because of the prior escort and every now and then doing the escort thing, she felt, though I still don't understand it in that regard, of how she thought she had the right to do that to people. And when I told her I didn't find that to be acceptable, she got extremely upset at me. And it was just one of those, I don't care that you're upset and offended. You didn't have the right to do that. You're playing with people's lives. And so then she wound up explaining to me that, what was it? That, she had, what was it? She had, something along the lines of, in order to get her dad's attention, she had confessed this. She was like, in order to get her dad's attention, she would go and cause problems for her mom, so that way her dad would have to come back to the house, and all these other things. And I'm like, I look at her and I'm like, that's so immature. I understand you were a child, and your mom and dad could have explained certain things to you, but for you to continue that into adulthood, and in specific the adult lifestyle, I don't know which is more disgusting to me. The fact that you messed with my stuff, which obviously that disgusts me and annoys me, or the fact that you messed with all sorts of other people's lives, not just mine. And, you know, her boyfriend, fiance, whatever he was, Brian, had come into the garage shortly afterwards, and he had asked what was going on, and I said, I'm about to leave. And he was like, well, what's the big deal? And I told him what happened. Lisa and her husband got so infuriated they just left. They didn't even say goodbye. Alicia stayed there, and she was like, oh, this is so fun. And I look at her and I'm like, you're not understanding the severity of that. You don't understand. You are playing with people's lives, and number one, you don't have the right to do that. Number two, going in regards to the medical aspect, you don't have a doctor's degree, you don't have an MD, you don't have any legal right. Do you have a medical license? No, the answer is no, because you already said you're doing your dad's stuff, and your dad went to years of medical school. So, I don't know who you think you are doing that sort of stuff, but I don't ever want to see you again. I don't ever want to speak with you again. You disgust me, Discordia. Erika is her real name. And I left it at that, and shortly after that was a few other situations, and because I had forgotten because of my memory issues after my head injury on Palm Sunday in 2000, I forgot to tell people in San Antonio, because there was a lot going on in my life in 2012. A lot. And in specific because of what happened to my daughter, and then in turn taking care of my son at the same time. And so it was one of those, I don't know who you think you are, Erika or Discordia on FetLife, but I'm not the only person who doesn't have patience for something like that. And you mess around with, like, I mean, you got arrested for stealing garden gnomes. Realistically, there are people who could do a lot worse than that to you. By a lot. And she had done that to a whole bunch of people in the city of San Antonio. And she kept them in her backyard. It was one of those, what is wrong with you? Like, what? And before leaving, I had actually asked her about, before in reference to her garden gnome thing, what would your psychosis be labeled as? She didn't like that too much. I was like, I don't care. Especially after later on finding out about what was done in that regard. However, as far as Alicia was concerned, don't remember what her name on FetLife was at the time, but she had lived with Ken at one point in time. And Ken, in the lifestyle, he was dealing with a bunch of stuff with his son. And Alicia made this big whatever to do about certain things. And it was just one of those, why, see, this is why I've hung out with males over females, and the only females that I can hang out with are the ones that don't have patience for stuff like that. Like, at all. Have absolutely no patience for that. And just, no, I can't. I can't. I don't do well with that. And so, yeah, Erika or Discordia on FetLife is the one that had done that. And she said the reason, her excuse, she said it was her reason. In my opinion, it was an excuse. She said that other than the fact that she viewed me as competition, the other portion was the fact that she had at some point in time when she was younger had a friend who had been in a car accident. And she was in a coma for a while. And when she came out of the coma, she remembered her husband, but she didn't remember the friendship with Erika or Discordia. And Erika or Discordia, or also known as Discordia, had claimed that that was an excuse for her to test my head injury stuff because of my memory issues after waking up from the coma, and the headaches and the migraines and all that sort of stuff, including the cognitive disorders. As Erika or Discordia claimed, she said because she wanted to test to see whether or not her friend from high school or whatever actually was telling her the truth or just not wanting to be friends with her. And she said, well, you know, now that I know that you weren't faking that, don't you feel better? That was her question to me. Asked me if I felt better that she told me she was messing with my head injury stuff the way my biological mother and biological sister did. Like, I was supposed to be excited that she tested my head injury. Obviously, that didn't go so well. And she was the same one who, meaning Discordia, also known as Erika, she had been upset because of, well, I had been told in front of, like, I don't even remember how many people were in the garage at Erika's parents' house when she discussed this. And basically, I know that it was Lisa and her husband, Alicia, and then Brian, the guy she was dating or engaged to at the time, and then her neighbor that lived next door with his mom, and then some of the neighbors that were in the cul-de-sac that lived there. And whatchamacallit, she had talked about how, and I'm talking about Discordia, also known as Erika, she had done some swinging stuff. One of the guys that she had been involved with as like the swapping of spouses and stuff, her husband at the time, now ex-husband, had gone with the wife and she had gone with the other guy, her husband, and meaning the other female's husband. And the guy like forgot to let her know that he didn't know that the condom slipped off or whatever inside of Discordia or Erika. And everybody sat in that discussion in silence. And then I finally asked, how did you not feel it? And Discordia or Erika asked me what I meant, and I said, how did you not feel a condom just kind of floating around inside of you? Do you feel tampons? And she was offended that I had asked that. And I don't know why. I still don't know why. How do you not know that you got a condom up in there? It's personal, like, weirdness to me, because, I mean, I can feel a tampon. So, I don't know how you don't notice a condom. I couldn't even have a diaphragm in when I tried to have that before my tubal ligation, because I could feel it. So, yeah, I have no idea how she couldn't feel a condom. Just kind of floating around in there. Though, I guess I'm just the weird one, and I don't deny being weird. However, that whole thing in regards to Discordia, also known as Erika, throwing a fit because I was offended that she messed with my head injury memory stuff the way my biological mother and biological sister had, and even my biological father had as well, but not to the same level as my biological mother and biological sister. Discordia, also known as Erika, she was genuinely offended that I was upset. And then she was even more offended when a bunch of the people, with the exception of Alicia, took my side on that. And I was one of those, well, everybody has a right to make their own opinion, and obviously I have the right to be upset. So, yeah, that was a weird situation. She needs, in my opinion, she needs to be evaluated for thinking that's normal and acceptable. However, she also was the same one who told me that the events at Temple of Flesh, in comparison, like for the big ones in comparison to the small ones, are where like the public come to view everything, and like only according to Discordia, also known as Erika, only the Sunday events are the quote-unquote real lifestylers in comparison to the bigger events, which I still don't understand. But that is what it is. So I'm going to leave this particular YouTube broadcast on my official YouTube channel. Make sure you comment, like, share, and subscribe. And you guys have a good one. Bye.